Welcome back everyone. In this video, we're going to understand exactly what is TypeScript. TypeScript is simply a superset of JavaScript, which provides a couple of options, like optional static typing, classes and interfaces. One of the big benefits to enable IDEs to provide richer environment for spotting common errors as you're typing. We can simply say that TypeScript is a strongly typed, object-oriented, compiled language. In a very simple words, TypeScript is a JavaScript plus some additional features, as we're going to see through the course. Why use TypeScript? Unlike CoffeeScript and Dart, which are two different programming languages, TypeScript is just an extended JavaScript. So when you're typing TypeScript, you're just typing JavaScript. No need to learn a new language. Languages like Dart and CoffeeScript are new languages in themselves and require language-specific execution environment, which is not very practical actually. It's a huge advantage to type JavaScript code through the TypeScript, which I think is very smart. What are the features of TypeScript? So some of the features of TypeScript, the first important one is compilation. JavaScript is an interpreted language. It needs to be run to test that is valid, so you can face the problem on real time, which is not very professional and can cause a lot of problems. It means that you need to write all the code just to find no output in case there is an error or something. And maybe this happened in a development environment and you didn't take care of this scenario or case. But with TypeScript, it will compile the code and generate compilation errors if it finds any sort of syntax error, which is very helpful for you as a developer. And I was saying that it is strong static typing. JavaScript, as you may know, is not a strongly typed. TypeScript comes with an optional static typing and type inference through the TLS or the TypeScript language service, as we're going to see. With TypeScript also you can just type object-oriented programming. Features like inheritance, polymorphism, you can use them already with TypeScript, which is a huge benefit. And we're going to see this in an upcoming section. One last amazing feature with TypeScript that it supports almost all JavaScript libraries. A developer can use any existing JavaScript code with the TypeScript without a problem. No need for migration. If you have an application that there is a lot of JavaScript in it and probably will have this, no need to update anything. You can just start typing TypeScript without a problem. So simply we can say that TypeScript is JavaScript with some additional features, as we're going to see. So no need actually to learn a new language. Just the new techniques, as we're going to see, like the classes, interfaces, and we're going to see this in an upcoming lectures. So next we're going to see how to set up your environment to write your TypeScript apps. Welcome back everyone to a new video. In this video we're going to set up your environment or simply install the TypeScript. So to do this, we're going to install Node.js, and we're not going to use Node.js for anything other than using the NPM or the Node Package Manager. So I need you to go to this URL, nodejs.org, and this is the current version that I have as I'm recording this, and I'm going to hit download. Once it is downloaded, I will start installing this. So the file has been downloaded and I'm going to double click on it to install it. And if you're following this on Windows, it's fine, just go ahead and install it. There's nothing going to be different. It's telling me that this package will be installed, the Node.js and the Node Package Manager. And this is the one that we actually seeking. So go ahead and install it. So once it is installed, I'm going to use the terminal or the command prompt on Windows. I'm going to keep this for now. So once you open the terminal, I'm going to type npm node package manager install -g, which means globally, which means it's going to install it globally into your system, not for a specific project, but for any project that you're going to create using TypeScript. And I'm going to type the package name, which is TypeScript. If you type this the same in Windows, it's going to work without a problem, but on a Linux or Mac like me in here, it's not going to work unless you add sudo or super user do. It's like an administrator. Go ahead and hit enter. It's going to ask you about the password. Go ahead and fill it, and as you can see, I have already the TypeScript. That's why it's telling me that it updated one package, which is a TypeScript. If you don't have the TypeScript ready, it's going to install a whole bunch of modules. TypeScript, you can find it in Visual Studio, so you might have it into your system already. To make sure that you have it, you can go ahead and type tc-v. It's going to give you the version of the TypeScript that you have. The version that I have now and the one that is available as I'm recording this is this funny version in here. It's a coincidence, 3.3.43. Okay? Now we have successfully installed TypeScript into our system. Next, we're going to create our first TypeScript app. See you in the next lecture. Welcome back everyone. In this video, you're going to create your first TypeScript app. Let's go ahead and do this. First, I would like you to visit this website. It is the official website of TypeScript. It is typescriptlang.org. Go ahead and click on Playground. And here is a sample from the JavaScript and the TypeScript. I would like you to go ahead and select Classic JavaScript. If you take a look at this in here, this is just pure JavaScript. And it's just displaying a button on the page and displaying a message. Let's go ahead and test it. If we click on Run, we have a button called Say Hello. If we click this button, this is pure JavaScript. It's saying hello, object of type object. That's actually not really nice. So if we tweak this code in here just a little bit, we can have much more than this. And we're going to explain this in detail later. Let's go ahead and type in here this greeting variable or parameter is going to be of type string. And in here in the message, I'm going to only leave it with world. And let's go ahead and hit run again. Click on say hello. Now we have hello world. I know that you may be confused. What is this and what is that? But what is happening in here and what I want you to know that in order to run TypeScript, the browser doesn't understand TypeScript. Not Google Chrome, not Firefox, not Internet Explorer even, not any browser or Safari or any other one. They only understand JavaScript. So in order to make it understand the code of TypeScript, we have to compile it to JavaScript. We have to compile the TypeScript code into JavaScript code. And this is what's happening in here. And this is what we're going to create in a moment. When we create an app, a TypeScript app, we need to compile it or convert it to a JavaScript. Using a simple command, it's not going to be something complicated. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how to create our first app. I'm going to use an IDE, maybe you're familiar with it, called Visual Studio Code. It's free. You can go ahead and download it from the Microsoft website. Here it is. You can go ahead and download it for Mac, Windows, or even Linux. So I have it already installed and I'm going to run it. So here I have the Visual Studio Code. I'm going just to add the basic elements for the HTML that I'm supposed that you're already familiar with it. The HTML, the head, the body. So what I'm going to do first is save this in here. So here it is. If I just add it to Chrome in here, it's pretty empty as you can see in here. So what I'm going to do now is get the code from the playground of the official TypeScript website in here and add it to file in here that I'm going to create. So file, new file, and I'm going to save it. You can go ahead and choose it if you'd like to be TypeScript or maybe just JavaScript and save it. So I'm going to name it app.ts, not JS, which means TypeScript. So in order to make this TypeScript app being displayed or run in this HTML page, I'm going to add a script in here, script tag, I'm going to add a source, and it's going to be app.ts. Of course, I'm not specifying any folders because I have them in the same folder, as you can see in here, okay? So this is not going to do much. If we go and check in the TypeScript app HTML that we have in here, nothing is being displayed. We should have the button say hello and hello world, if you remember from the playground. So why is this happening? Remember when I told you at the beginning of this lecture that the browser by default doesn't understand TypeScript. It needs to be compiled to JavaScript. So we didn't do this specific step. We need to do it. So how can we do this? We need to go to the terminal again, or the command prompt. So here is my terminal, and I'm going to go to the directory where I created the TypeScript app. So what I'm going to do in here now is navigate to the folder and try to compile the TypeScript file. So the code that we're typing here, or the commands, is called bash. So we're going to use some of the basic commands of the bash, which is cd or change directory, and I'm going to type desktop where I have the folder for the project files, and I'm going to again type cd, and I'm going to add a single quote TypeScript. Of course, I'm adding a single quote in here at the beginning and at the end because I have a space in here, and if you type it without the single quotes, the terminal or the bash command is not going to be valid. So right now I'm in the TypeScript course, that is the directory. I'm going to navigate through the whole folder so that you don't have to see all of this. So I'm done with it, and here it is. Now I'm inside of the folder. If I would like to see the files inside of this folder, first TypeScript app, we're going to use this command ls. Now it's telling me that I have an app.html and an app.ts. That's exactly the same two files that I have in my folder in here. This is where I have the HTML code, and this is where I have the TypeScript app. So right now, to compile this app.ts, I need to add tsc or TypeScript compile, and I'm going to add the name app.ts, and I would like to take a look at this. There are only two files, HTML and .ts. Once I hit enter, a new file will be created of type JS. So now we have a compiled JS file that the browser can understand. Let's go ahead and change it or test it. So I'm going to change this. This is not going to work as we have seen. I'm going to change this to JS, and now we have the file and make sure that it is in the body, not in the head. Okay. And I'm going to refresh the page, and now we have the say hello. If we hit it, we have hello world, and we have run our first TypeScript app successfully. So to summarize what we did, we created an HTML page, we added an app. I know that maybe you still don't understand fully how to write TypeScript code, but this is just an example, this is just an introduction, the first section of course. And we've learned how to compile this TS app or the TypeScript app through the terminal using this command, ts app.ts. So every time you're going to change your app, you need to compile it again. So if I changed something in here, maybe say hello, the name of the button, to something, say hello world, and an exclamation mark, and I'm going to save this. If I go to the browser and try to run this again, it's not going to be displayed because it didn't change the app.js file. We need to compile it again. Let's go back to the terminal. You don't need to type this command in here again. You just hit the up arrow on your keyboard, and it's going to get you all the commands that you've added. Okay, I'm going to hit it again. Now it should be compiled again. Okay, let's go ahead and refresh our page. And here it is. Say hello world, and it's displaying a message. So next we're going to see how to make this step automatically without each time go and add this command. Sometimes maybe you forgot to compile the file from TypeScript to JavaScript, and this will lead to problems. So we're going to later see how to make this smoother than this. So that would be it for now. Next, we're going to see some similarities between the TypeScript and the C# language, and both of them are created by Microsoft and almost by the same man. See you in the next video. Welcome back everyone. In this video we're going to do something very important, which is activating the autocompile for the TypeScript apps. We cannot just go ahead and keep typing this command to compile the TypeScript. That's not a smart way for a developer. Maybe you'll forget, maybe something will happen, so we need to make it automatically, and that's what we're going to do this in this video. So let's go ahead and do this. So before we do this, here is the structure of the folders or the file that I'm going to work with almost in all of the videos. There will be an HTML file. I'm going to call it index. You can go ahead and call it whatever you want. And there is going to be an app.ts, which is the file that's going to contain the TypeScript code. Then there is another file that we have seen earlier that's going to contain the corresponding JavaScript code. Right now it's not being generated or compiled, as we're going to do this in an automatic way. So let's first add this folder to the Visual Studio. So here it is. There's plenty of ways to do this. The one that I'm going to use here is going to be through the Visual Studio Code, which is a really smart feature. But before we do this, I would like to show you the file that I have here. The index.html is just a basic HTML. Only the title, home, and here's the script. In the body, pointing to the app.js, the file is going to be compiled as we have seen in the previous video. And here I have the TypeScript app itself. And right now it doesn't have much, but later we're going to type more of a TypeScript code, but right now just keep it simple. So how can I compile this? And I'm not going to use the TSC or the TypeScript compile command. I'm going to do this in an automatic way. So go ahead and open the terminal. If you don't have it open already, you can go ahead from the terminal menu, hit new terminal. And I need you to go ahead and type this code. tsc *ts watch. This means that we're going to combine all the TypeScript files using a Visual Studio when we save it. So just go ahead and add enter, and it should be fine. And here we have a new file called app.js, as you can see. If we take a look at the directory, we can find that we have a new file really called app.js. Let's go ahead and check it from the browser. So if I go to the console, you can go ahead by choosing options, more tools, developer tools, or simply have the option or alt command if you're on a Mac, I, which is going to take you to the console. Right now I have a problem if I refresh this, because this one here was before I generate the JavaScript file. Right now I have the JavaScript file compiled and ready, and here is the hello world. Let's go back to our app. So I'm going to open both of them in here. And I'm going to change this hello world maybe to hello Jack. And I'm going only to hit save. Did you notice something? That it did compile the file for us. I don't have to go to the terminal to type the tsc compile blah blah blah. I don't need to do this. Let's go back to the app, refresh it, and here it is. It is compiled automatically without a problem. You can go ahead and type anything, maybe my name, Ahmed, and it's going to change without a problem, as you can see in here. This was an important step, saving us a lot of time and saving us the compilation process that maybe sometimes you'll forget when you're focusing with an application. So that's it for this short video, and see you in the next one.